A Advent of Code 2023, day 5. How you doing? So we got 4 minutes to get set up for day 5. Let's take our day 4, call it day 5. Delete a bunch of stuff. Pretty sure we're going to have that lines import again. You know, just something tells me, some intuition tells me we're going to be using that lines function. Hey there, Nightshade dude, how are you? Okay. We're probably also going to have a day 5 test, and I'm sure we'll have something to put in these lines. But for now, it's going to be empty, and I just want to make sure this compiles before we start, right? So main needs to have a mod day 5, and tests needs to have a day 5, right? And because I don't know how to make this a macro and don't feel like organizing it any different way, we're simply going to do a search replace of everything. We have to establish a day 5 input, but it doesn't actually need to have any content in it. And I can close this, and we can focus on our day 4s. Don't save. No. Don't save. Running the tests, I should get failures. Because those aren't zeros. Now it should pass. Cool. We are ready to go. If it works, it's not broken. That's right. Look, it doesn't break at all. Everything passes. Ready to submit 0 as our answer, right? Is this counter about right? It's actually exactly right. So in a minute and a half, we're going to have puzzle day 5 unlocked. So once again, what is Advent of Code? It's basically an advent calendar of programming puzzle solving madness. You get 2 parts or 2 puzzles that usually the second one builds off of the first one. You get a pair every day from December 1st to December 25th. Hey there, Code 3 Monk. Good luck to you as well. I hope y'all get the solution really fast and get on that global leaderboard. So in just under a minute, we're going to unlock the next puzzle. And these are all Christmas themed. Usually they involve elves and Santa Claus and trying to help them out. And I don't have enough time to go through the story this year in too much detail, but it started with a trebuchet getting launched into the sky. So that was interesting. So in our last puzzle, we were going up a gondola onto a floating island, and we ended up helping out an elf with his lottery tickets. So it's basically impossible to predict what each day is going to have in store. So best of luck to everyone else who's working on this, whether you're doing it on the time like I am or not. All right, ready or not, here we go. Day 5. If you give a seed of fertilizer, you take the boat and find the gardener right where you were told he would be, managing a giant garden that looks more like a farm to you. A water source? Island is the water source. You point out that Snow Island isn't receiving any water. Oh, we had to stop the water because we ran out of sand to filter it with. Can't make snow with dirty water. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll get more sand soon. We only turn off the water a few days, weeks. Oh no. His face sinks into a look of horrified realization. I've been so busy making sure everyone here has food that I completely forgot to check why we stopped getting more sand. There's a ferry leaving soon that's headed over in that direction. It's much faster than your boat. Could you please go check it out? We barely have time to agree on to this request when he brings up another. While you wait for the ferry, maybe you can help us with our food production problem. The latest Island Almanac just arrived and we're having trouble making sense of it. The almanac, which is your puzzle input, lists all of the seeds that need to be planted. It also lists what type of soil to use with each kind of seed, what type of fertilizer to use with each kind of soil, and what type of water to use with each kind of fertilizer, and so on. Every type of seed, soil, fertilizer, and so on is identified with a number, but the numbers are reused by each category. That is, soil 1, 2, 3 and fertilizer 1, 2, 3 aren't necessarily related to each other. For example, we have 4 seeds. There's a seed to soil map. There's a soil to fertilizer map, etc. The almanac starts by listing which seeds need to be planted. 79. Actually, let's just grab this while we're reading it. 14, 55, and 33. So that's going to be our input, our test input, right? So there we go. We have it ready. The rest of the almanac contains a list of maps which describe how to convert numbers from a source category into numbers in a destination category. That is, the section that starts with seed to soil map describes how to convert a seed number to a soil number. This lets the gardener and his team know which soil to use with which seeds, which water to use with which fertilizer, and so on. Rather than list every source number and its corresponding destination number one by one, the maps describe entire ranges of numbers that can be converted. Each line within a map contains 3 numbers: the destination, range start, source, range start, and range length. So considering the seed to soil map, destination, source, and length, that's 70, that's 98, 99, and 100, right? So 98 goes to 50, 99 goes to 51, 99 goes to 52, right? Oh, it's just 2. It doesn't, yeah, 98 and 99, not 100. Got it. Okay. Destination range is the same. It starts at 50, so it's 50, 51. Okay. So I said 52. I was wrong about that. There's just 2 of them, 50, 51, mapped from 98, 99. Got it. So you know that seed 98 is 50, 99 goes to 51. Second line means that the source range starts at 50 and contains 48 values. That maps to 52 and so on. Any source numbers that aren't mapped correspond to the same destination number. So seed number 10 corresponds. So seed number 10 corresponds to soil number 10. So the entire list of seed numbers and the corresponding soil numbers looks like everything mapped 1 to 1 until we get to 50, and then there's a mapping, and then we get to 98 and it maps back to 50. Okay, I get it. With this map, you can look up the soil number required for each initial seed number. The gardener and his team want to get started as soon as possible, so they'd like to know the closest location that needs a seed. Using these maps, find the lowest location number. This corresponds to any of the initial seeds. To do this, you'll need to convert each seed number through other categories until you find its corresponding location number. Whew! Okay. So seed goes to soil, which goes to fertilizer, which goes to water, light, temperature, humidity, and then finally to location. And I'm not going to assume that they're in order. I guess we can look and see. We can assume they're in order. That saves us memory, right? So let's get our puzzle input and see. Seed to soil map, soil to fertilizer. Okay, they are in order. So it doesn't really, I don't really care about the names. We just need to go until we get to, we just need to iterate basically, right? While we're here, let's grab our input and put it into day 5 input. Paste, save, close, done. Okay, close that. So given all this mapping, we map the original numbers into location numbers and find the lowest location number, so that's the minimum. Got it. Okay, so then, so first step is parsing. I think it's 2 stages of parsing. First stage is to get the seed numbers. And then the second stage, we're going to read in map lines. We don't know how many map lines there will be, so we'll stop when we get to either the end or a blank line, right? In fact, can I just kind of cheat and make sure there's a blank line at the end of both. Yes, I can. Actually, my lines function is not going to return blank lines, right? So the way to think about it is, I guess we would just go until either we get to the end or we get to a line that doesn't start with a number. It'd be the easiest, right? So that's the second step is we're going to loop and we're going to read in a map, which is basically read a line and just discard it, and then read lines until we get to one that either we get to one that doesn't have a number in the start, or we get to the end of the file. And with that subset of lines, parse each one to be a part of a map, and we're basically building a map out of that, and do the mapping of the previous numbers to the next numbers and repeat. Okay, so I think what I can do is, because we don't really care about these names, we can just read this first line and then immediately toss the next line. The blank lines are going to get skipped. So that means that, yeah, so we want our numbers, nums, equal lines. Actually, we're just going to get our enumerator. Let lines equal lines input. And nums is lines next parse nums. And yeah, I think I'll leave that unwrap in there for now. Okay, and then we're going to then throw away the next line. And then we're going to repeat. So I want to make this mutable. And it's going to be while let some line equal lines next. If, so it's going to be if the let me think about this. If the line's first character is numeric, then we're going to so we need to have like some kind of object. So let map equal map new, and here will be map. This is going to be mutable. If it's numeric, then we're going to do like map ingest or input line. Otherwise, if it's not numeric, then we need to do the map dot like execute or something. Or we can just do it this way: nums equal map dot execute. And then map, we need to actually we can just have execute reset it back to the end. And then when we get to the end here, we'll want to execute again. And then we're going to return nums dot into iter the minimum. Okay, so we need to parse nums. That takes, looks like we're taking a line, and we are returning it. I guess it could be a vector. Does it really matter? Just make it a vector. Hey there, 86, 85 filter. Why did I say 86 filter? Is that because I'm under time pressure? How are you doing, 84 filter? um, Actually, this is independent of having like struct map, right? And we have to have an impl map. Function new, which just returns self. Easy. And then we're gonna have an input, mute self, and line. And that doesn't need to produce anything. And then we have an execute. And that returns, oh, we actually have to give it the numbers, right? And I'm like, I could make it mutate the numbers, or I could just have it generate new numbers. We just have it generate new numbers, right? Nums vec u30 vector of u32s gives us a new vector of u32s. Why do I have that open? I don't know. To do. Okay. This does not compile Y, cause line. Wait, what? What? Why is it doing that? Oh, shoot. That is correct. What if I just do chars first or next? Unwrap. There we go. I did it. Okay. Execute takes the nums. Okay. And then why can I not iterate and return the minimum? Found an option. Unwrap. Okay. That's mutable. Cool. All right. So everything's done except for everything that we need to do. Okay. Parsing numbers. First off, we want to discard the prefix. All right, so well, actually, we can just say line dot strip prefix seeds unwrap, and then split on space, and then map into U32 parse. Actually, flat map. I learned that this morning. Flat map into U32 parse and then collect. Why isn't it like that? Oh, shoot. Well, wouldn't it just be n parse? Oh, I see. It's str parse. And it's since that's generic on a type, it gets the type from that. Hey there, Jim FYYC. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. All right. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing Advent of Code 2023 Day 5. Bunch of programming puzzles, 2 per night, December 1st to 25th every year. Solve it in your favorite programming language or a new one or whatever you want. Give yourself a challenge. So that's one. Okay, we're going to do a similar thing when we do input, right? So for that one, I don't need to do strip the prefix, do I? So that is just a split. And these are nums and there's 3 of them, right? So that's the destination beginning equals nums next unwrap. And there's source beginning and the length, right? Why did it not like that? And okay, it doesn't know what to parse it to. I guess initially we will say that this is right here and parse to U32s with parentheses. This still doesn't know what to, because I didn't mean to collect them. Okay, so then we have our destination, beginning, source, and length. So I'm inclined to just like brute force it, unless the input shows that the numbers are ridiculous. Oh, the numbers are ridiculous. Okay, never mind. um, I suppose what we'll do is we'll make a vector of these, and we'll sort it by start address from source address. Yeah. So um yeah, this map will have ranges, I guess. And we need to have a range. So a range will have like these things in it. So I'll just copy these. Actually, then I could just move this into the parse for range, right? So these these are U32s. Go to end of line. Trying to remember the key. Okay, I couldn't remember the key, so there. What's the objective of this challenge? Link, please. Thank you. Do I have a command for it? I do not. Hold on. Copy link address. Add com AoC. Advent of code goes there. So if you just go there, go to about, see what it's all about. It's made by Eric Wassel. It is an advent calendar of small programming puzzles. So there's one per day from December 1st to 25th. They're all Christmas themed. They're all whimsical. It's really to me, I think it's mostly a problem solving challenge where you have to use the computer to actually execute your solution. But there are some days on some contest years where it was possible to do them by hand, like on a piece of paper or something like that. But most of the time, if they're designed well, they're would take too much time to solve by hand, and so use a computer to solve it. And people race to get the solution the first and get on the global leaderboard. It's hard to cheat because everyone gets a different set of inputs. Not impossible, but very hard. I'm not competing for time. I'm just using it as like a challenge to see like how quickly and easily and how well can I write a solution in Rust to the day's problem. All right, so this is going to have a ranges, which is empty. Okay, and then I think I want to move that one into a new for map, so or for range. So impl range function new line, I guess. I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'm just going to cut it and paste it up here because that's how confident I am that this is what I want. Because then I want a self and then have this. There we go. We're done. So input's just going to say let range equal range new line. Okay, and now we got to put it, we'll put it at the end, and at some point we got to sort it, right? I think we can just have execute sort it. So this will just take this range and add it to self range. Rust is a learning experience, and now you use C. Well, that's nice. I want the opposite. Learn C, then many other languages, and ended up with Rust. So ranges.push. All right. So input's easy. Execute. So we gotta do two things. We have to sort the ranges by start address, I think, or source begin, and then for every number in the given numbers list, we have to run it through the ranges. Basically, see if it's in any of the ranges, and if it is, do the mapping. If it's not in any of the ranges, then it just comes out. The output follows the input. Put it back and put it into the answer. So this should just be iterating through the numbers, right? Into iter map, and then we'll map it through. I guess we'll just follow the same name. Self dot map number, and then collect. So we need to have a map, implementation of map that has a map. Self. This technically doesn't. Oh no, it does need to mutate. Either that or I need to reset it. Maybe I just do a reset. So we'll have do a reset after here. So map.reset. And reset's easy. Let's do it now. Self.ranges.clear, right? Okay. So map self input U32 has an output U32. And for now, we'll just have it return the input as is just to make sure it compiles. Okay. So right, before I run the numbers through, I need to sort the ranges. Sort unstable by, and we'll have a comparator function. Actually, why don't we just do sort unstable and we'll just make them comparable? Because that would be fun, right? Sort unstable. So this is going to tell me, hey, you can't sort that, or it isn't satisfied for range. Well, we can fix that. We can implement standard compare ord for range. Actually, I think the way we're supposed to do this is implement partial ord and then derive ord, if I remember right. Might be wrong. I am wrong. I always forget the right way to do this. I think it's you implement partial ord, and then the implementation is just empty, right? Or maybe it's just self dot partial comp other. What's this error we're getting here? Equal has to be satisfied. Now, that is definitely partial equal, right? And then I think this is the one where we can derive equal. Yeah, so that one you can derive. This one you cannot. Is it the other way around? The derive. Hold on. I think I got it backwards. I think this one you do partial comp. You just do sum. Sum compare. There we go. All right. That's fine. It derived partial equal for me. So we only really need to do ordering. So that's really just self dot source begin dot compare with other dot source begin. All right, cool. It has to be mutable. Oh, that is what. Okay. Yeah. If it's gonna be mutable, then I might as well do that and have get rid of reset. So, but then I do have to say like new let nums equal, and then return nums there. Okay. Like that it enforced your problems early, and now you know why. I think AI is the opposite direction for natural language comprehension because a natural computer language could be invented. Oh, natural programming language. Isn't a natural programming language just English instructions? Or instructions in any language, for that matter. I guess it depends on your definition of natural. English is made up, computers aren't. What do you mean computers aren't made up? They were there before we existed? Okay, this loop could be written as a for loop. Really? Indeed it can. Okay. Nature allows a computer. All right. I think you need to go to a philosophy channel, not a Avena code programming channel. Let's see. Right, this one I need to do, right? So I think what we're doing is we're walking the ranges. So for range in self ranges, if let some output equal range dot map input, do you do your TCP communication little endian or big endian? Big endian always. Return output. If we get to the end though, the inputs, so I just need to have a map for range now, right? Easy. Function map self input U32. Actually, I don't know why I'm typing this. I could have just copied from the other place, but that's okay. If input is less than source self dot source begin, then this is an option actually. Or input is greater than self dot source begin plus, I guess it would be greater than or equal to, right? self dot length. Then it's, well, I guess I should just turn this logic around. Greater than or equal to the beginning and less than that. Then it's sum input. We have to offset it, right? Well, it would be input minus the beginning plus self dot destination beginning, else none. All right. Let's see if I got it right. I failed. I got 0. Why'd I get 0? Oh, because I had 0. Is 35 what they said I should be getting? Yes. So that is correct. I just forgot to fill that number in. Okay, then. Let's run day 5, part 1, see what the answer is. Attempt to add with overflow. Wonderful. We overflowed there. I guess U32 is too small. That's my guess. Do we have things that are bigger than 2 billion? Yeah, we do definitely have. We can't use U32. We got to use U64s. So select all U32s and turn to U64s. Should not affect the test. Should still pass. No, it does not pass. Oh, it doesn't build because in our main, it's expecting that we're returning a, the answer is a U64, right? Crap. You know what I'm gonna do is these are already all written. We're gonna promote them all. That'll work. All the previous days were returning U32s. Now we need a U64. So, don't panic, please. We got a number that's more than 32 bits. Hopefully is correct. Submit. Yes, we did it. On to part 2. No pausing for the weak. Pausing is for the weak, I mean. No pausing for the dedicated. Everyone will starve if you only plant such a small number of seeds. Reading the almanac, it looks like the seeds line actually describes ranges of seed numbers. Okay, the values on the initial seeds line come in pairs. Within each pair, the first line is the start of the range. Second value is the length of the range. Okay. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Now there are 27 seed numbers. In the above example, the lowest location can be attained from seed 82. Okay. Whew. Okay, so they did this so that you can't brute force it. So if I tried to brute force it, let's see what happens. Same example input. Now that I think about it, if the example for part 1 and part 2 are the same, I should just have put it in one spot, right? I shouldn't have bothered having a copy of it. But yeah, so it should be 46. Let's see what happens if I brute force it. Usually what happens when you try to brute force it is it dies a horrible death. So if really I just need to take these nums and run it through a transformation, right? Where I expand them. So let nums equal, actually, why don't I just, let's just say nums as ranges, and then we'll just make another function. Where did I put the first one here? We'll just read this indifferently. How bad could it be, right? So we strip it, we unwrap it, we split it, we do a flat map, and now I gotta do it's not window, it's like partition. No, I need to like grab two at a time. Well, I can just say let mute nums equal that. Or num ranges. Ranges. It's not, doesn't need to be, actually it is mutable because it's a iterator. So let mutable nums equal vec new, and then while let some start equal ranges next. Let length equal ranges next unwrap, and then for well, I can just do like this from 0 dot dot length map. I don't actually need the index though. I'll let the debugger, I'll let the linter tell me how to write this differently. So for blank in 0 to length. Actually, I do need that number. Take that back. So if I do map it, it's an I. Nums push start plus I. Nums. Okay, what does the lint say? To ignore the resulting value? Wouldn't it be better to just say for I in there? Yeah. Okay, so brute force should probably still work for the smaller input here. It's just for the real input, it's going to take way too long, right? So if I run this now, it's probably going to take too long. It will never get our answer. You gave up on part 2? Yeah, well, we could just let this run while I sip my soda. Oh, it got killed. Something killed it. It ran out of memory? It probably ran out of memory. So what does that tell me? We can't brute force it. That's for one. That's one thing it tells me. Hey there, Sullenist. How are you doing? We have to try to figure out this problem. That if we're given, what's our example? This example. So we have some starting numbers, and we're running them through a bunch of maps, and we get some output numbers. That like here's our inputs and here's our actual outputs down here, and we find the minimum is that. Now they've put a twist on it and said, hey, it's not actually 4 numbers, it's 27 numbers. 14 numbers starting with 79, and then 13 numbers starting with 55. So it becomes basically too many numbers for the real input because the real input's enormous, I bet. If I were to look at our real input, yeah, so we have 218 million numbers starting here, and then another 400 million, and then another 12 million, and then another 52 million, and then just 113 million more, 73 million, 190 million, 584 million more, 180 million, and then 310 million. So that makes a vector that's so large it's gonna run. We're gonna run out of memory. So obviously we can't hold these in memory. One idea I have is we don't need to store them. We could just do one at a time and just since we only need the lowest number, we just run them through all the maps. Run each one through the map, and then we just keep the lower of the lesser of the two, right? So turning our input around. If we just remember our ranges, and then um, we'll just keep the lower of the two as we go, so we don't keep these in memory at all. How about we do it that way? So then we keep it as ranges, but it's not a vector anymore. It's a vector of um, let's call it input range or num range. I already had a type called range, so let's have another one called num range. Bad name, but you know, it is what it is. Struct num range. So we'll have U64 start and a length U64 also. So this is just not ranges. Let's call this one ranges in, and we'll call this one ranges out because I'm terrible with names. So ranges out push num range autofill. There we go. So now we have a vector of num ranges, and let's rename this to ranges. All that in Rust, yeah. You'll be learning a lot from me. Check out my YouTube if you really want to learn Rust. I have an Introduction to Rust series. And feel free to watch as much or as little as you wish. I will not be offended if you don't like my teaching style. All right, so we have a vector of num ranges. I think what we got to do, right? But so before we would be constructing a map, running it through the map, and then just tossing the map when we were done. I don't think we can do that anymore. So what we want to do this time is instead of executing, I think we want to take that map and have actually a collection of maps. So say let mute maps equal, and then this will be a vector. And then we'll have a map. This is mutable because we're giving it a new input every time, right? But instead of execute, what we're going to do when we get to the end is we're just going to, because what execute does, we still need to do the sort unstable. So we're just going to have like finalize or something. How do we say it? Finish? I want to say finalize because finalize, or how about complete? See, I'm terrible with names, but I don't want to use finalize because finalize usually means destroy. We don't want to destroy the map. We want to say that the map is complete, and then we're going to put it into our maps. Okay, and then when we get to the end, then we're going to be running through all of our ranges, but we're going to remember the candidate. And actually, I don't even need to do this. All I need to do is use a fold or a reduce, right? So nums dot into iter dot reduce. So with reduce, we get two things. We get the candidate and the next range, right? Or the next map. Next I forgot to rename this. I was going to call it ranges. Oh, I accidentally changed it in part one. That should just stay nums. We're not touching part one. Part one was golden. It's part two, call these ranges. So we take the ranges, we iterate, reduce the candidate, and then the next range. Actually, I don't want to do reduce. I want to do a fold. Shoot. No, I don't. Um, I do want to do a reduce, but I need to flatten these ranges first, right? Well, why don't I just take the minima, the minimum of each one, and then just take the minimum of all that? So that means that I am mapping each range into some kind of like yeah, basically find the lowest map. So range dot lowest mapped, and then we'll give it the maps. So you can borrow the maps, right? And then we'll take the minimum of that, and we have to unwrap this because we could get a none. Okay, so we need to complete. Let's do that one first. So that's kind of like execute, only we don't clear the ranges and junk, right? And it's going to produce itself. It's going to consume itself. It's really just mutes self. It's going to just sort the ranges, right? We're not going to do this mapping and all that. We're not going to clear it. We're just self, right? Why did it not like that? It should not have taken an argument. Did I give it an argument? I did. No nums. There we go. Okay, so we need a lowest mapped. So that's on a num range, right? Yes, num range needs to have num range, a function, lowest mapped. It's going to borrow self. It also gets the maps, which is a vector of map. So we're really just getting a slice of map. And then we're yielding the lowest mapped answer, right? We need a name for that. Maps. Okay, and what did I do wrong here? I thought that would need to be unwrapped, but maybe I'm wrong. Is it? Oh, it's the minimum needs to be unwrapped, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Mood value. Oh. Yeah, then I have to do a map. I have to do a new map every time. Because we're storing them separately now. Okay, good. And then ranges does not need to be mutable. Okay, so where it's all down to this lowest mapped. So this is the crux of it, right? So we have a range of inputs, and we want to run each one through these maps and like just retain the lowest one. So it's the same logic as part one here. It's execute. So it's this. I need this sort of as its own function. Um, wait, I already have it. It's called map. Yeah, so we're gonna reuse map. So we're gonna go through, just do yeah, okay, I got it. So we have to do a range from self.start to self.start plus self.len, and then fold or reduce. Actually, I need to map that, right? And then reduce them? Yes. We got to map it through all the maps and then reduce. Actually, we just take the minimum. Unwrap that. Okay, so for each number in the range, we need to have it go through all these maps. So that would be maps dot iter dot let me think about this. I want to fold this, don't I? Fold, the initial value is the input, so that is the input. The function takes the input and the map and runs it through. Map dot map input. There we go. I did it. Okay, see if my test still works. Oh, look at that. It works. Now, but can we do this in finite amount of time? That's the question. It might still not be fast enough. That's my worry. It would be nice to get some feedback, wouldn't it? I might have to do a release build to even see if we're how far we are. Because we got to go through billions of numbers, right? Isn't it like roughly 6 or 7 billion inputs? So I just don't know. I kind of want to stop it because I don't know if like it's actually running it, if it's if it's stuck or something. Conundrum. Do we let it? Maybe we let it run while I'm working on making doing some debugging. So like, what if every like million inputs? Well, let's just have it print stuff. Print line. Um, number of ranges, number of seeds. Right, that'd be interesting to see. Ranges, length. Actually, I need to do ranges. Let's call it seed ranges. Right? But then it'd also be nice to know the number of seeds. So the number of seeds we have to get by iterating and then mapping the range. Oh, well, we can just call range length, right? Sum, unwrap. I just need to have a length for a range. So it's not range, it's num range, right? Num range. Num range length. U64 self.length. Why does it not like me to do a sum of that? Oh, because it doesn't know the actual, actually it should know the type. Okay, well, so it doesn't know, it can't sum as U64s? Okay, is it that I have an unwrap and I don't need the unwrap? Okay, obviously the debug is too slow. So I'm just gonna control C it. Let's run it again, at least see if, okay, so there are 2 billion seeds. I thought there'd be more than 2 billion, but can I see what this length is? I can if I do a dbg. So these are the ranges, right? For my input, day 5 input. Should be that number, and then it should be every other number we should see there. I think those are all correct, all the way down to here, right? Okay, so we have the correct number of seeds. So we don't know what's slow. We basically need to find the bottleneck and improve it somehow. So remove that. It's obviously not parsing those ranges, which I would be shocked if it was. So what about if maybe it's the map? So let's print line. Well, why don't I just print the number of maps? Number of maps. 6 maps. Not too bad, right? Why do I keep closing it? I don't know. So are there 6? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, there are 6 maps. Okay, so then it's this mapping, right? So probably in lowest mapped, it's too slow, which is unfortunate. Somewhere in here, I got to put in like a counter or something. I guess I'll do it here. Let's do an enumerate. And then what we get for fold is an N and a map, right? And then what we can do is we can say like, if N plus 1 divided by a million is not equal to N divided by a million, then print line N. Okay, so it's not even getting, it's really, okay, we're not even getting to 1 million yet. Let's chop a few digits off. How about 10,000? Still too slow. Okay, how about 100? Control C. Okay, I think I might see the problem. I think I'm, well, hold on. Is it just getting stuck inside of map? Are there just too many ranges? How many ranges are there? Let's have it print out here. Number ranges. Self dot, actually we have to do this. Self dot ranges dot length. I wanted to print something. God darn it. Gosh darn it. Wait a minute. It did way more than 10 that time. It did way more than 10. Is my logic for printing boundaries wrong here? It must be, right? If I print n there, what do I see? Oh, it's resetting. Yeah, I put it in the wrong place then. It's not the maps. It's this needs to be enumerated. So this needs to go here. We don't enumerate this. This is fast enough, right? I'm gonna assume that this actually gets into the millions, but I could be wrong. There we go. So I think it's just way too slow. There's 40 million, 50 million, 60 million. And this is just the first input too, right? Why is it slowing down? I didn't expect it to slow down. Okay. It was 200 and something million. No, it was 2 billion total, right? Yeah, 2 billion. So it's not even 200 million. It's not even a tenth of the way done. Okay, let's see what we get if we do a release build. Optimized build. Okay, it's a lot faster, but it's still very slow. Did I did I do this problem wrong? Do I have a nested loop where I didn't need to nest? Let me think about this. Part 2, right? We get a whole bunch of seeds. Each seed we're just running through the maps, right? While I'm thinking, I'm wondering if it'll actually finish. um, lowest mapped, right? These are seeds. Each one of these is a range of seeds. This might actually finish in a little bit then. Wait, it's 0? What? That can't be right. Oh. Why am I getting 0? I shouldn't have gotten 0. Oh, I don't want to do a fold, do I? I need to do a reduce. Okay, I didn't do this right. Oh, no, I am. The fold runs it through the map, right? But I don't think I want to take... Well, I do want to take that min. Wait, is the answer can't be 0, can it? Actually, it could be 0. Wouldn't that be funny if the answer was 0? Nope. It's not 0. Okay, so I have a logic mistake in there somewhere. Okay, let me try to find the logical mistake. We're taking the lowest of the low, which is what we want, right? Well, I should probably have run my unit test first. Yeah, the unit test still passes. It returns... Oh, no, I didn't. I ran part 2. No, it does pass. 46. If I do 47, I get a fail saying it got 46 out, right? Yeah. And I am running part 2. Yeah, okay. Okay, then I got a 0 where I shouldn't have gotten a 0. Why is that? Oh, I'm supposed to return the seed number, aren't I? What am I supposed to return? Lowest, no, it's the lowest output. So somehow it saw 0. I don't know why. Well, it was printing way too many numbers. Could we at least, like, print out the lowest mapped here? Yeah, why don't we do a DBG so we can see what it is. Okay, it's still, I can add another digit. So every 100 million seeds. Okay, so that's the lowest from the first range of seeds. So there are 10 ranges, right? So that's the lowest of the first range is 56 million. Okay, now we got a 0 and oh, and then it skipped. Why did it jump like that? Is that the problem? So there's something in that second range reduced to a 0 somehow. This range. Why did that reduce to a 0 really quick? It shouldn't have. How did we get a 0? A 0 would have been at the very end, right? Well, there's what maps to a 0 is if we get that input. Huh. Yeah, well, this is going to end up shortcutting to 0 because that's the smallest. Okay, what it came out with that 0 like really fast too. It didn't even go through all of the it didn't go through all of the range. It's like it cut it short somehow. Does min, like when it sees a 0, does it just stop early because you can't go lower than 0? That must be it, right? So it hit a 0. So I kind of want to know what it was then. So what if I just say, let's do this. Output equals that. If output equals 0, then I'm actually gonna iterate it through, and we'll debugging this time. So for, well, we'll do a fold again, but we're gonna actually print out stuff this time. Output. I really only need to know the inputs each time, right? So actually, then I just put a dbg in here, like that. Okay. I want to see what, for if it's a 0, what, like, how did we get a 0? So maybe I'll see the bug there. Wait, now I'm not seeing it. Oh, no, there it was. Wait, how did that go to a 0? It shouldn't have. Try that again. Let's have it print. Instead of debugging, we'll just have it do a actual print. Let output equal output print line input went to output. Okay. So it's actually not the second range, it's the third range that has a problem in it. Something in there is mapping to 0 like really early. There it is. So that in the third range, this range, right? Wait, that isn't even an input in the third range. What? Oh, maybe it is the second one. It is the second one, right? 400 million starting at 670 million. So when we get to 1 billion, blah, 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 it all gets mapped down to 0 somehow. Well, 0 is if we have that number, which we don't. So when it went through the last map, it gave me the wrong answer. Why is it giving me that for 101 million? Okay, well, the first one, 1 point something billion. It's just really hard to see like where it would be in here. I'm looking for it. God. It's just really hard to even read. There's just too many numbers to read out of here. So if the mapping is correct, it did go to location 0. If we have something that goes to location 0, that is the lowest number, right? Like maybe I have an off by 1 problem here? Could that be it? Okay, what are these two numbers added together? That plus this equals. No, that's within this range. Starting there and that length. Unless I read the problem wrong. Contains 14 values. 13 values. Okay. Crap. I have a bug somewhere. How about map debug? DBG. So can I just do for DBG range? I can. I think I can. Oh no, I can't because that has to be a name. But I can do DBG if range derives the debug. Okay, more data from debugging. Okay. So this is how it walked through the ranges. Source 0 to that, from that to that. Okay, it's too much input to look at. Let me grab it all. Ah, forgot I can't. Can I just take all, select all, copy, close that, open a new text file and paste? There we go. All right. Okay. Delete all this. It's not groovy, it's text. So we start with a number that's 1,073,000,000. Wait, why did it end up? It went through all the ranges? That's a problem. It's not sorted correctly. No, it is sorted correctly. Never mind. It is sorted correctly. It should get down to the one, yeah, it gets down to this mapping. And it says, okay, beginning at 890 million to 890 million plus 258 million, map it to start at that. So it does that correctly. Okay. So going down to the end, it should have gotten to a 0. Yes. So it does get a 0. Well, then, like, 0 is the right answer, isn't it? I don't get it. If this is correct, then the answer is a 0. This is because it was outside the range, I think. Unless, do I have a boundary problem? Is one of these like right on the edge? This one is right at the source beginning. Wait, hold on. I just noticed something. Oh, no, I didn't. It's just a coincidence. That just means there's no gap between it and the next one. Okay, so that's the output of the previous step. Well, no, that is the output of the previous step. That's the input of the previous step. Because it's mapping to 0, that means this number minus that should be equal to that. Minus this equals 12903800590. Yes. Okay. This fell through because it didn't hit any range. 0.3 million. 1.3 billion, I mean. 1.3 billion. Oh, yeah. Any source numbers that aren't mapped correspond to the same destination number. So 10 is 10. Okay. So that's where I have this this one-to-one mapping right here because it wasn't mapped in the previous step. This is frustrating because I don't see any problem with it. So that plus this is what? 1.1 billion. Okay. This is one. So it's within the third range of seeds. And that does map, that matches, if I printed an extra line that's where it says it actually is in, when it actually finds it, that might help. But let me see if I can see it again. It's this one, right? This last one. Plus please select that. Thank you. Equals. Yeah, 1.148 billion. 1.315 billion. So it's going to be the difference between those two minus this equals plus this equals 149,832,871. That's correct. Okay, and then running that number through, it says it does map. Where does that map start? In this one, actually. This last one. 579 billion. Oh, it is always the last step, I think. No, it's not. It skipped it. Right, it couldn't find the range that it was in for that one. Wait, is that the problem, that it actually, there's a hole, there shouldn't have been a hole at this number? Hold on, let me see. So 153 million. Okay. So what's that plus this number? 129. Oh, there is a hole between there and the next range. And this is the third. 1, 2. It's the fertilizer to water. Wait. 135. Did we drop the first line somehow? Let me try to find each line here. Okay. And then this one. Okay. And this one? Okay. This one? Wait a minute. Do I have an extra blank somewhere in here? I don't get this. I don't know. Oh, wait. Hold on. This ended one step early. Is that the problem? It's ending one range early? It's not doing the last range somehow? This one has a destination of 0 source 101, right? That's the temperature to me. But what about the humidity to location? That's the problem. It stopped. It stopped early. It shouldn't have stopped there. That's it. Okay. So I think might know what the problem is. Um, yeah, where was that 0 test again? When it goes through the maps, right? Wait. I can understand how it mapped it to 0, but then why did it not go through the last range? Why did it not? It's supposed to go through all of the ranges. Okay, this minimum makes so I have a minimum somewhere that shouldn't be, I think. Um, this maps, right? Iter fold. It should go through every single map, but it's not for some reason. It's going to the next to last. Hold on, map debug. It's supposed to go through all of the ranges, but it's not for some reason. Oh no, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. These are all the ranges it's going through. It's going through them in order on purpose. Okay, that's correct. Shoot, then I just feel like I'm so close to figuring out where my bug is. I got 25 people counting on me to figure this out. To 4 days of learning programming, launch your first 100% functional calculator. You get a 70% chance of getting the correct. For the update, you tend to rise to 80%. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just not seeing. I'm seeing that, but then it's supposed to pass that 0 through again. But I'm not seeing that. It's this fold here, right? Can we just print out the Can I do a DBG on maps? Map doesn't implement debug. Now it does. Run it again. Okay. Wait, I'm not seeing the debug I put in there. Oh, it's at the beginning. Here it is. Oh, it's very long. Okay, I can look at the last one though, right? And the next to last one. Wait, are my maps in the wrong order? One oh one, 107. I close this one. This is getting don't save that. Yeah, see, it mapped 10183 to 0. That's fine, but why did it stop? It has humidity to location it still needs to run through. It should have mapped it to that large number. No, why? It's the map's in the wrong spot. It didn't put it in the right spot. Ah, 290 12903. Wait, what? Where's that number? That's not the one I wanted to copy. This number. Where is that number? Okay, it's in this one. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Yeah. Remember how I had an extra execute at the end? Well, I forgot to do an extra map push complete here. There are 11 maps, not 10. Okay, one line was wrong. Or there are 7 maps, not 6. That's the problem. Yep, I was missing this line. I didn't have the last map in the list of maps. I had all but the last one. So it was going through all stages except for the very last step. So doing 6 steps instead of 7. So this should give me the right answer. It'll take a little bit. It's got to go through 10 ranges. So it's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 ranges so far. So it's just got to go through 6 more, and then I'll get my answer. Ah, I feel so stupid. Missing one line of code and looking at these huge numbers trying to make sense of it. You have to laugh about it now. Laugh at past Raimu's mistakes. We're going to get our answer soon. How many more do I have to wait for? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 more. 3 more seed ranges. These are big ranges. Hundreds of millions of seeds. There's probably a trick to like work backwards from the last map to the first to figure out what input gives you the lowest output, and then maybe you just repeat until you find one that's in the input range, right? Because we could just select the lowest output range and then reverse map them back to the previous map and find the lowest of that, and then you go all the way back to the input, and then we'll find the input that gives us the lowest output. And we would do that until we find one that's in the input range. In one of the input ranges, right? But hey, if a brute force solution works, who am I to complain? There we go. We did it. Okay. Now, I bet a lot of people got stuck on that last one. So let's see. Thank you, Code Monk. I feel bad. How many minutes did I waste not seeing that last that missing line of code? Okay, someone did it in 8 minutes. I am not worthy. Yeah, this one was harder, right? Because there were a lot of people. Wow. So you could have gone all the way to the 26-minute mark and still been gone on the top 100. Yeah, so part 2 is very hard compared to part 1 because you had people still working on it 26 minutes in, whereas they had already gotten part 1 in 8 minutes. Okay, I don't feel so bad. So, what was it again? Leaderboard, personal times? Yeah, see, even though it took me an hour and 44, I'm still ranked. I got like almost the best time. Almost the best rank so far. Okay. I could have the sad thing is I could have got a better rank if I didn't if I didn't if I had seen this missing line of code right here. This one cost me a lot of rank. So I don't need to print any of this junk anymore. DBG. I don't need map DBG. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need a semicolon. Don't need the print. Don't need to enumerate. We just have an input. We don't need a length. I wonder what I used that length for before. So just curious how actually long it takes me to get that answer. What was it, like a minute or something? So maybe while it works on that, I can study my code to see how I might be able to make it a little bit better. I don't think we really needed to do these. I think for equality, it was good enough to do this. So I can shorten that, right? Yeah, because no two ranges have the same beginning. So if it has a beginning the same as the other, they are equal. Well, yeah, fundamentally there are three things, and there's no split three ways. So that's probably the best I can do, right? Now that we know it's U64, I probably don't need that anymore. And that means I could probably just make this an str parse. Yeah. That's all good. We're not debugging anymore, but I guess I'll leave in the derived debug. It doesn't cost me anything. This complete, does it need to consume self? It doesn't really. If I allow it to be cloned, but I don't allow it to be cloned, so I'm gonna keep it the way it is. I probably should have run a timer on that. It's more than a minute, right? It's probably why a lot of people had trouble because even a release build that took a while. So I'm guessing that a less brute force solution would be to work this map backwards. That's the correct answer, right? Yeah. So like, where's the input? So like, if you working this backwards, like if you wanted the lowest number, what you'd probably want to do is um, start with this range, right? So to get the lowest number, 56, you need to have a 93. So you take 93, 94, 95, 96, and then see like how do you get that from this one? Well, um, we skip that one because 93 doesn't even map through that one, right? So 93 is in this one, so that maps it. We mapped at 45, and then you proceed all the way to the top, and then you see if like whichever one of these ranges you end up in are any of the seeds in it, and then you would just pick the seed that is, and then run it forwards through the map. So it's you could probably speed this up by doing that, right? Just by making a guess that you want a seed that ends up in the lowest range of the output, because anything that ends up in the higher range, is not going to be the right answer if there's anything in the lower range. That's just a guess, though. I could be completely off base there. How else could you shortcut this process? Problem is that we had like billions, literally billions of numbers to transform, and although there's only 7 transformation steps, maybe you could accelerate it by collapsing the steps together. So you could take these 7 maps and make them into one map with a lot more ranges, right? So maybe but that would have only sped it up by like a factor of 7. If so that wouldn't really get you a big improvement. Actually, though, once you collapse all these maps together, then you know what the lowest output map is, and then you could just um, see how it intersects your input ranges. So maybe that is the way to do it. Collapse all 7 maps together into one more fragmented map, but still one map, right? And then with that one map, take the lowest output and figure out what the corresponding input is. And then you just work. If the lowest output doesn't, if the input for the lowest output isn't in your input ranges, then you just go to the next lowest and the next lowest until you find one that is your input, and then you found it. Right? That's probably a more efficient solution. But I'm just gonna be happy that I found that I found the answer. Okay, this is saved, right? And running my tests, I still pass. Yep. Okay. Man. You know what would have been really killed me is if any number was larger than 2 to the 64, then I would have really been screwed. Actually, I guess you could do U128 in Rust, but after a certain point, you can't represent your numbers anymore without like a really complicated number type. Yeah, this is a brute force breaker. We've hit our first one on day 5, pretty early actually. How many unwraps do I have? I got 13 unwraps. Well, that's no good. So, out of curiosity, if I make this an option, self, and then I take all the unwraps and I just make them tries, and I do some, how much does that break? Um, it just breaks one thing. So I could just say if let sum range equal range new line push range. Now how many unwraps do we have? Now we only have 10. Okay. So we can make this an option. Remove that unwrap, and then what do we get? Where do we break now? Down at the end here? Okay, but then I can make that a flat map to fix that. Right. So now we're down to 9 unwraps. Okay. Can I do an option here? And do a question mark sum? How did I break that? Why does it think execute? Oh, because nums is an option. So, that actually forces me to do another unwrap, doesn't it? Unless I make part 1, I probably will. I probably will want to break this up, right? So, like, if the real part 1 is that, what I really want to do is try part 1, input, unwrap, make this one an option. Then I can do like question marks everywhere. So one there, remove that. Put another one there. And let's do the same thing with part 2. Just doing the exercise of trying to get rid of all of our unwrappings. Try part 2 input. You gave up on giving up? Yeah, so Betseg, did you see when you left to try to fix your part 2? I finally found it, and the problem is I was missing this one line of code here. So I had been constructing the maps by pushing it whenever I hit the divider between maps, but then I forgot to add the last one, so I had the wrong number, and it took me like a really long time. Figuring that out though, I got back to 3616. So imagine what my rank could have been if I didn't have that one line bug. I bet I would be in the 2000s if I just didn't forget that line. You think my code looks good? Well, that's because I've been spending time fixing it up. I'm doing this trick that chat suggested the last time, which is if we're doing all these unwraps, just turn them into tries. Just do that, and then I don't even need that. Look at that, easy. So this thing has also an unwrap in it, right? Yeah. So this could just be an option again. Basically, we treat any kind of error as if we never saw it. So all the unwraps become question marks. And the cost is that if we do get something, we have to actually say it's something. But that allows me to put a question mark there. Hey there, Adam. 162 fine people. I've been doing advent code. We're on basically at the end of day 5, at least for me. I took an hour and 44 minutes to solve part 1 and 2 together. Advent Code is made by Eric Wassel. We do this every year from December 1st to December 25th. You get a pair of programming puzzles every day, like the Advent calendar, and they're all Christmas themed. And today's was pretty tough, I thought. So it had to do with taking, where is it? Something like this, and figuring out, like, with these 4 numbers, map them through a whole bunch of maps and find out the smallest one. And that was fine until it said, oh, well, it's not just 4 numbers, it's 2 ranges of numbers. So there's actually 27 numbers you have to test. And because our real input had literally billions of inputs, so 218 million numbers starting with 2 billion something, it became impossible to brute force it. So we had to get creative in how to solve the problems. So yeah, I'm just cleaning up my code now. That's a mistake. I think I must have damaged something at the beginning here. This E shouldn't be there. What's wrong here? Part 1's defined multiple times. Oh, this should be try part 1. This is try part 2. Okay. What's wrong here? No method named lowest mapped. Okay, so that's because range is not the right type. Because this needs a question mark. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to remove unwrap. I just closed the file, didn't I? There we go, opened it again. Find unwrap. So I'm down to 2 unwraps. Good. So yeah, part 1 of the puzzle is really fast. Part 2 takes several minutes to run. If you weren't working in Insignia, you'd probably try AoC yourself. It's if you enjoyed solving puzzles. The puzzles are just whimsically Christmas themed, but they really just come down to kind of like LeetCode questions. and they're supposed to be increasing difficulty, like easy on the first day, really hard at the 24th day, and then they give you an easy one for Christmas. But sometimes we have like easy days, and sometimes we have rough days, like today. 75 microseconds for you. Both parts take 75. So Betseg, you must have found like a trick. So I brute forced part two, as you can see by the fact that it's still running. So a lot of people finished at the same time as me. Yeah. Well, I would have gotten it faster if I. So I was stuck for the longest time missing this line of code. And retrospectively, it's obvious to me because it's this pattern where you're parsing, and if you get some numbers, you want to add some more input. But if you don't see numbers, then you're done with one map, and you want to go on to the next map, right? Well, what happens at the end of the file, right? At the end of the file, we just we just stop, right? We don't, like, the last line had numbers in it. We don't hit a line with no numbers in it unless I cheat and I do that. Um, unless I cheat and do that, I have to have an extra to take the last map we were building and add it at the very end. I didn't have that, and so basically the last map was being not included, and we kept getting the wrong answer. And what really threw me was the wrong answer we were getting is 0. And I'm like, okay, I must have some kind of mapping problem because, like, it just shouldn't be 0. It should be some large number that's the wrong number, but it shouldn't be 0. And it's because next to last map, it's possible to get a 0 there, and I didn't know that. Yeah, sure, I'd love to see your code. Do you have it on GitHub or something? Because then maybe I can discover what the secret was that I'm missing. So I'm brute forcing it. Um, it's maybe still not easy to read this, but it at least fits on one page. Let's look at Betseg's solution. So copy link, paste. All right. Can I make this a little bit bigger? Zoom a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you have your seed ranges. Chunks, that's what it was. I forgot about chunks. And here I am trying to, like, do where is it? This next and the next. Chunks is so much nicer. I just forgot about chunks. Okay, anyway, you're doing chunks and then you're mapping, right? You're turning them into ranges, so it's kind of like what I did, although I named them start and length. You made a tuple. Okay, fine. Same thing. Same thing as mine, only cleaner. I'll give you that. Then you're sorting them. So same thing. I sorted them in my complete right here. Sort unstable. You did sort by key, which is, so I did the more verbose way. I just said implement order and equality, and the order I did the beginning, and then you abbreviated it, but it's basically the same thing. Sort by the beginning. Could have sort unstable? No, but yours is a lot more brief. So I kind of like that. So for map and maps, seed range in ranges, for range in, okay. Okay, so here's the trick. I don't understand how the trick works, though. You basically said, like, so this is a huge range of hundreds of millions of things in it, right? You just said if it contains it. Oh. So if you find a seed range is fully contained within a map range, you just do it in one step. There's a new seed range. Okay. I didn't think about doing that. Well, yeah, it's saying if the start is within the range and the end is also within the same range, right? That means that the entire range is with the entire seed range is within the entire all of the seeds in the seed range are within that map range. Then you basically you just say I don't you didn't have to test every single seed in that range because you get this yeah, it's the shortcut that I couldn't think of. Okay, so I guess what this is if it's not completely within, you see if it's if part of it is in there, right? If part of it's in there, then it's just a subset, right? And then what do you do with seed range start? Oh, you just keep iterating until you've filtered them all through? Okay, I kind of see how that works. Yeah. So that's a much smarter way to do it. Yeah, I wasn't this smart. I wasn't smart enough to see this. So you're taking whole ranges together, and if they map all together, then you can do it in one step. If they don't, then you like divide it into the range that can fit, and then you have the leftover. So you're dividing up all the seeds into subsets until you've passed them through the map altogether. So you have a new range. So okay, so you have an original seed range, and then every step you just have a new set of seeds, but at the next level, right? And then you just pass them all through 7 levels until you end up with the final seeds, and then you just take the lowest one, right? Uh, yeah, yeah, you just took the lowest one there. Okay, that's smart. Wish I'd have thought of that. So you don't like doing the rostering? You end up putting the new line and then the escape the line to fold them together. You prefer that versus rostering? I kind of like the rostering because it kind of preserves the original look and feel of it. You end up with the vector of 130 ranges, which is great. Yeah, so yours is much better, much more efficient than mine. Well, I guess I gotta let the dog out. Hold on a sec. As a reward for watching me, take a look at this kitty. Am I learning Rust? I'll always be learning Rust, even though I've been using Rust for about 3 years now. I'm never done learning. I'm just looking at the solution that Betseg did, comparing it to the solution that I did. And although mine is less code, it's more brute force. You want the indent of the string to be indented? Okay. Anyway, we're done with today's puzzle. And now we have to wait 21 hours and 49 minutes for the next one. Oh, yeah. Chat overlay is made by CM Griffin. He made that chat overlay. It's called Stream Parrot. He's not streaming right now, but he'll be streaming basically every day. So check his stream out the next time you see him online. And if you are a streamer, you too can use that chat overlay. You watch him daily, then you must have recognized it looks a lot like Chris's. Yeah, so I'll be back in 21 hours ish. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to do Probably won't be able to do number 6 on time. Probably do number 6 late, but I'll be able to do day 7 on time. So, is anyone else still working on the problem? So time enjoyed still is. Hold on. We rated time enjoyed last time. How about Stu Squared, who's also working on it? Stu Squared is also working on Advent of Code in Scala. Awesome. Let's go watch someone doing the same problem I did, but in Scala. You're up to a whopping 6 on your own leaderboard? Nice. Okay, I will see you guys later. Enjoy Stu Squared. See ya.